What up, homeboys and homegirls? It is Coach Jakes back with another chemistry video to help make your chemistry life easier. This video, we're going to talk about converting temperature. If you're doing gas laws, then you are into this temperature conversion thing. So I'm going to give you a few tips to help you do better at that. All right, so there's 3 temperatures we deal with. I didn't write them down, so I'm going to write them down. They are, we deal with Celsius and Fahrenheit, which are 2 temperatures y'all are familiar with. And this new temperature we deal with is Kelvin. The reason why we like Kelvin is because Kelvin, there are no negative temperatures. All right, no negative temperatures. We like that because then when we start doing math with pressures and volumes, then we don't have negative pressures and negative volumes because those don't exist. You can have no pressure, no volume, but you can't have negative. All right, so we have Celsius and Fahrenheit and Kelvin. These two we measure in. This one we math in. All right, we measure in these. We can measure. But when you do math, you want to math in this one. All right. So, but in order to do that, you got to be able to convert between, if the problem gives you Celsius or Fahrenheit, you got to convert those to Kelvin. And then also be able to convert back and forth because I don't know what your teacher might ask. All right. So, our first formula here is going to convert Celsius to Kelvin. All right, so this means the temperature in Celsius plus 273.15 equals our temperature in Kelvin. All right, so now let's go look at number 1. If you need to write that down, write that down. Let's look at number 1. So we got 86.5 degrees Celsius, and we're going to convert this to Kelvin. All right, so we're going to use that first formula right there. We're going to take our temperature in Celsius. Here, I'll just write it. T Celsius plus 273.15 equals my temperature in Kelvin. So now we're going to replace TC with 86.5. All right, plus the 273.15, and that's going to equal our temperature in Kelvin. So TK equals what? $359.65K. Y'all check my math in the comments. All right. So then on the next problem, so our next formula says we're going to take Kelvin and convert it back to Celsius. So if going from Celsius to Kelvin, we add 273 to the Celsius, then we're going the opposite way. We're going to do the opposite operation. All right. So since we're going from Kelvin to Celsius, instead of adding, we're going to subtract because we're going the opposite way. All right, so this one says, your chem teacher said the temp outside is 400K. That's important. What is the equivalent temperature in Celsius? So this one gives us Kelvin, wants us to convert to Celsius. So we know we're going to go Kelvin to Celsius. So this one right here is what we're going to use. So we'll go the temperature in Kelvin minus 273.15 equal our temperature in Celsius. So our Kelvin temperature is 400 minus 273.15 is going to be equal to our temperature in Celsius. I didn't work these problems out before. I should have, but I didn't. So if my math is a little off, forgive me. All right, so that's going to equal 126.85 degrees Celsius. All right, make sure you put y'all's units. All right, make sure you put your units. All right, good. So we converted Celsius to Kelvin. We converted Kelvin to Celsius. Now, what if it gives me Fahrenheit? All right, so if it gives me Fahrenheit and asks me to go to Kelvin, then it's a different formula. Instead of adding and subtracting, you're going to add and then multiply by a fraction, but that's not a problem because if we're multiplying by a fraction, either you can do this one or 2 ways in your calculator. Either you can put the 5/9 in parentheses, or you can just multiply by 5. You can take this, you add it up, multiply by 5, then divide by 9. All right, and it's the same thing because that's how math works. All right, so if water boils at 212 Fahrenheit. All right, so that's the temperature in Fahrenheit. What temp does it boil at in Kelvin? So right here, it's telling us we're going from Fahrenheit to Kelvin. So we're going to use the Fahrenheit to Kelvin formula, which says TF plus 459.67. So you see it's in parentheses. That means we're going to do that first. And then we're going to multiply that by 5/9. And that's going to equal our temperature in Kelvin. So what is our Fahrenheit temperature? 212. We'll plug that number in right here. So we got 212 plus 459.67. Again, we're going to do parentheses first. We'll multiply by 5, divide by 9 equals T carry. All right, so inside our parentheses, we add this up, and that's going to give us 671.67. All right, and then we're going to take that and multiply by 5/9. I'm running out of space. All right, but that's okay, because that's going to equal 373.15. Again, make sure you put your units. That is Kelvin. All right, and that is your answer. All right, so when you're converting temp, you want to make sure you read the problem and see what the temperature is given to you. When we're doing gas laws, we measure in Celsius and Fahrenheit, but we do our math in Kelvin. So you want to make sure you pay attention specifically to this formula and that one, because those take Celsius and Fahrenheit and teach you how to both convert to Kelvin. All right, so let me know what you thought in the comments if this helped. Be on the lookout for the start my website up, chemistrycoachx.com. It already exists, but it's not live yet. But we got some special things coming for you. All right, converting temperature for gas laws. Peace.